Warning: Channel Robozoid contains adult language, adult content, strong opinions, and verbal brutality. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, it is I, the Robozoid, your semi-likable and occasionally tolerable curmudgeon of the Rumble and YouTube airwaves, and we have to once again talk about, well, the attempted assassination on President Trump, which, of course, well, as you know, took place on Saturday night at the Washington, D.C. Hilton, just across the street, I think. Yeah, it is across the street from the White House itself. Now I think you're going to understand from watching this video why Trump wanted the White House ballroom so much and why even my attitude about the White House ballroom has softened, because obviously, I think he wanted this White House ballroom, which he paid for with his own money, as protection, because when you do it in a public place, like, let us say, the Washington Hilton, well, shots are probably going to break out because of sloppy security. But nevertheless, that's what did happen. And of course, well, you've got the left basically pointing fingers and everything, and not really getting to the heart of the matter at all. As a matter of fact, after I play this clip here, well, I wanted to show you a manifesto, not a manifesto, but a post by Barack Insane Obummer himself, in which, of course, he's just got it all wrong, as one TikToker will read it for you. So let's have a look, okay?
Continue to untangle the motives of a gunman who opened fire outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night. That's where more than 2,000 guests, including the president and the vice president, were gathered. One Secret Service agent was shot, but no one else was injured. CBS's Natalie Brand was at the event.
A day after shots rang out just outside the ballroom of the White House Correspondents' Dinner,
If you can't hear this, I'll adjust the volume.
And members of his cabinet to take cover. Authorities are investigating why the gunman opened fire. Law enforcement officials tell CBS News the suspect, 31-year-old Cole Allen from California, wrote a manifesto in which he stated he wanted to target administration officials, quote, prioritize from highest ranking to lowest. Sources tell CBS News that his brother called police in New London, Connecticut, flagging an alarming email he received from Allen. In an interview on Fox News on Sunday, the president said he wished law enforcement had been alerted sooner.
Well, I heard about the London situation, and I
just hope it wasn't on Vanity's show.
The president also praised the quick action of Secret Service in keeping the thousands of guests at the Washington Hilton safe Saturday night. Agents stopped the suspect as he tried to break through the security checkpoint.
It's a tough thing, though, when you have a hotel in the middle of a city with buildings all around and hotel rooms on top of you. And, you know, it's a tough situation. But I thought Secret Service and law enforcement, that includes D.C. police, law enforcement was great.
One Secret Service officer was shot but is said to be doing well and was released from the hospital on Sunday. Security experts say the shooting raises questions about whether enough was done to secure the hotel ahead of the dinner.
You know, it's difficult because you have obviously a hotel that's open to the public. They have other guests that are unassociated with the event last night, and they are going to have to take a hard look at how you maybe screen those guests coming in.
President Trump hopes to reschedule the dinner in the next month. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
A little while later.
So there'll be a lot of debate about that. You know, I think we also need to just talk about the fact that, you know, political violence continues to grow. We've had now, this is the third attempt presumably on this president's life.
Presumably.
That when I was leaving,
It was the third attempt, you baldy skid mark.
Times basically say, kill Trump. Right? I mean, unbelievably standing outside, like shouting, like, you know, kill Donald Trump. I mean,
they were shouting kill Trump.
No, they had the signs. I can't remember exactly what they were, but they were terrible human beings.
They were there in the beginning, so when you had to walk.
At least he can admit that.
You can just Google it, look it up. There's currently online a bar like in upstate Wisconsin that was, you know, the owner was celebrating this fact that the president was almost assassinated. I mean, there's sick people out there, sick individuals, and it seems to be.
I retract that baldy skid mark remark.
This isn't a whataboutism thing. This is for the Trump derangement syndrome is real. And in this case, you see it time and time again played out, right? How many attempts are there on Barack Obama's life? Republicans didn't love Barack Obama. I think probably none. How many attempts are there on Joe Biden's life? Republicans don't like Joe Biden. None. Again, this is the third attempt on Donald Trump's life. There's got to be something about it. I understand. My good friend Josh Shapiro was almost killed in his home. And
it is not an exclusively left-wing problem.
There's no excuse.
Taking
However, though, there's something about Donald Trump that has got to stop.
Of course the political violence has to stop, and this is political violence. I mean, of course you're going to have the pundits on the left saying, well, oh, the right commit political violence too. No, they don't. No, right-thinking people solve problems properly. The left seem to think that violence is the only answer to everything now, and their TDS is the level of TDS that they have is so high that they've come to think that this is the only way to solve their problem with violence. And it really does have to stop, because the left are the ones committing the political violence, not the right. When is the last time you ever heard about anybody on the right trying to assassinate Obummer, or let us say even Biden? Answer: there have been no assassination attempts on Biden's life because they figured he'd probably keel over himself, he was so old. But now we have this little post here from former president, supposed Barack Insane Obummer, in which he actually had this to say, which a TikToker is going to read for you now.
24 minutes ago, Barack Obama says, although we don't yet have the details about the motives behind last night's pew-pewing at the White House Correspondents' Center, ... What the fuck do you mean? What the fuck do you mean we don't have the motives?
Why are you afraid to say shooting?
Manifesto, publicly available, spread all throughout the news cycle at this point. The man was repeating hearsay by the likes of representatives like Ted Lieu, feeding his own delusions and psychosis with unsubstantiated claims about a guy, because the news cycle, the media is the problem, and also former presidents, apparently. I mean, the guy was
damn right.
a month from an LA County school district, I believe. You're already from California. I think the motive's already clear there, but if that's not enough, also donated to the Kamala Harris campaign. $25 only, but I mean, California doesn't really pay teachers that well anyways. Parents, we need to start vetting who our teachers are for our kids, because there are now a plethora of examples of radicalized teachers teaching our children, and Democrats who complained about a fucking ballroom being built with private money, by the way. The donations of rich people who you say should be funding our infrastructure and stuff like that. A ballroom on the White House grounds would have prevented this incident and will prevent future incidents from happening like this ever again, no matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat.
So, yes, the backlash against Obummer's post is for real. I mean, Obummer, of course, was not alone in his hatred of Trump, and is just basically making it all a bit about himself when talking about the expertise of Secret Service. Of course, you had Hakeem Jeffries, whom I am not going to play at this time. I'll get into that in another video. Well, probably you already saw it in a previous one. But let's talk, of course, about how Donald Trump himself went on 60 Minutes, or 60 Lies, as my dad calls it, and basically confronted the 60 Minutes interviewer with cold, hard facts, especially when it came to that whole No Kings rally bullshit. Just take a look at this.
This will change your relationship with the press.
Well, look, for whatever reason, we disagree on a lot of subjects. We talk about crime. I'm very strong on crime. It seems like the press isn't. It's not so much the press, it's the press plus the Democrats, because they're almost one and the same. It's like the craziest thing.
Well, they are fake news.
We've never had in the country where, as you know, it said 0 people for 9 months came into our country through our southern border. We have a very tough border.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this quote, "Administration officials, they are targets." And he also wrote this, "I'm no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people. Horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I
these
was
are
never,
the gunman's words.
excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in the other thing in the manifesto that I think is, mention that because, again,
what the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
I was in the room, not far from you, Mr. President. Could hear what sounded like gunshots or commotion.
Right.
People nearby could smell the gunpowder. Everybody hit the floor. How worried were you that there were going to be injuries?
I wasn't worried. I understand life.
He's already been through it twice.
He had attended a No Kings protest in California.
No Kings.
What did security tell you about what may have been
She's
the
a
motive?
well-dressed dimwit.
Like that is you have people doing no kings. I'm not a king. What I am, if I was a king, I wouldn't be.
So, right, if Trump were a king, he certainly wouldn't be dealing with the likes of 60 Minutes. And he certainly wouldn't be, he certainly would not be doing the things that he's doing right now, which are actually benefiting America, in spite of what the left think. And let me just say, if Trump were a king, do you think we'd have free and fair elections? I don't think so, because I think Monty Python summed it up very well.
Well, I didn't vote for you. You don't vote for kings.
Right. You don't vote for kings, you vote for presidents. You vote for governors. You vote for leaders in general. And, of course, Trump is a leader. Biden was not a leader. Obummer was definitely not a leader. He was a follower, a puppet of George Soros. So, yeah, and the whole idea about we're all immigrants on stolen land, then why are we paying taxes on this so-called stolen land? So, yeah, again, the left just completely get it wrong all the time. And again, I do not know why this guy by the name of Cole Allen, why the hell is he in the hospital being coddled and basically getting treatment? He really should be on death row awaiting execution for what he did. And that's the God's truth of the whole thing. This, of course, has been the Robazoid, and I will catch you in the next video, if any. And, well, let's just say that, leave it at this. Wokeness is weakness, obviously. It's a lesson the left are never, ever going to learn, because they're just too stupid. They're too wrapped up in their own ideology to even notice. And, of course, yeah, if you like what you saw, you guys know what to do. Knock on that subscription, knock on that like button, and, of course, give it a good knock. And what else should I say? Yeah, subscribe to this channel. I think you're going to love it. Also, remember that just be here or be absolutely nowhere else. Otherwise, you're not going to get real news.